Yes, hello. Good evening, everyone. Yes, Sinchana, good evening. Only nine students are there. Just ask your friends to join the class. No, we'll wait another 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Just yeah. Good evening, Varshini. Good evening. So yes, good evening, everyone. Yes, the people from YouTube also. Yes, Anand. Good evening. So had your tea, everyone. Tea snacks. Quickly ask your friends to join the class. No, we'll start a class at 5:2 or 5:3. We'll wait for 5 to 10 minutes. Yes, hello. Good evening. Yes. Yes, the same. Okay. So, yes, only yes, 24 students are there. What about others? It's okay. So, yes, good evening, everyone. Yes. So, we'll start the class quickly. Before that, let me launch a technical poll. Okay. So, yes, just answer in the poll whether I'm audible clearly and is the blackboard visible clearly. Yes, you can answer in the poll. Yes, use the poll and just let me know. Yes, good evening, Ashwin. Only Ashwin is there in the YouTube. What about others? No, yes, two people are there in YouTube. Okay, so yeah, maximum people have no issues, right? So that's why I'm ending the technical poll, and we'll see. Let me first record. Yes, Jeevan, yes, good evening. Nishchai, good evening. Yes, good evening, everyone. In the previous class, what we have discussed, can anyone let me know in the chat box? Yes, in the previous class, what we have discussed? Yes, use the chat box and tell me now what are all the things we have discussed in the previous class, even from the people from the YouTube also. Just let me know. Yes. So we have seen that how the water will transport, right? Water transport in the plants. Okay. So yes, this is a thing which we have discussed in the yesterday's class, how the water will transport. Yes, there are two parts, you can say. If you take in a parts, there are two parts. One is that, what is that one? Absorption of water, where water will enter into the xylem of the root from the soil, that you can call as a absorption of water. And second one is that a ascent of sap, right? So ascent of sap means from the xylem of the root the water will move up, that you can call as ascent of sap. Right. In the ascent of sap, there are two types. There are some small plants and there are some larger plants, right? So ascent of sap will takes place differently in the smaller plants and in a larger plants. So can anyone tell me in smaller plants how the ascent of sap will takes place, or yes, what is the process of ascent of sap? What is the name of, what is the type of ascent of sap which takes place in the smaller plants, which are in even centimeters? Very good, Soumya. That is the root pressure, right? By the root pressure, the small plants will get the water. Okay. And the second one is that transpiration pull. I have told you already. Because of the transpiration, the pull creates in the xylem vessels, and that pull will take the water from the nearby cells. And that continues till the xylem of the root, and then absorption again takes place. So continuously water will move in. Understood. This is what we have studied in yesterday's class. So now in today's class, we'll study about the mineral, how the minerals will uptake and transport, and how the food will transport. That is the thing we are going to study in today's class. Okay. So first is that mineral uptake, or uptake of mineral ions, you can see. So there are two types of uptake. I mean, which means what? How the root will absorb the minerals, that is of two types, and with the conditions. Okay. That first one is that there is a condition. There are many minerals in the soil compared to the roots, which means mineral concentration is more than the root. Okay, mineral concentration is more in the soil than the root. Now the minerals will move from their higher concentration to their lower concentration without using any energy, right? Because the number is more, they are moving according to the concentration gradient. That is why no need to use any energy. That is why this process is called as what? whether active or a passive process. Yes, Gopika, good evening. Yes, if the molecules are moving from higher concentration to the lower concentration without using any energy, that is called as a what? Yes, got answer from Ananya. What about others? What about others? Ananya, yes, very good. You said correct. No one are answering in the chat box. I said no. You guys should be active, super active. If I ask a question, immediately you need to say in the chat box, because yes, you are here to learn something, right? So when when you are interacting, then only you can learn something. If not, you cannot. That is why if the molecules are moving from their higher concentration to their lower concentration without using any energy, that is called as a passive movement, right? So yes, the mineral ions can move through the passive movement when the minerals are more in the soil. But there is a second condition, that is that there are very less minerals in the soil, but the root still needs the mineral. Now what happens? The minerals, by using the energy, they will move opposite to the concentration gradient. That you can call as what? Which type of movement, that is active or passive? Yes, very good, Ananya. So what about others? Yes, Soumya. So that is an active transport. Okay, so yes, the minerals will enter into the, yes, Jivan, correct. Yes, the people from YouTube, you can also answer. Okay. Okay. So this is how the minerals will enter into the root. Then they will enter into the root hair. After entering into the root hair, how they will move in, or how they will move towards the xylem. You know, right? Xylem is the vehicle which transports both water and mineral. So now the xylem, sorry, the minerals also move towards the xylem. How they will move? Yes, they will move in the same way how the water has been moved. Like, what is that? Symplast and apoplast. Symplast, and by the symplast and apoplast movement, the water, sorry, the minerals will reach the xylem of the root. So now you got, right, passive movement, active movement. By the passive and active movement, the minerals will enter into the root hair, and from the root hair, by the symplast or apoplast pathway, they will reach the xylem. Right, now they have reached the xylem, and from the xylem, how they will move up, that is the thing, right? That is, you can call as a translocation. After uptake, the translocation of mineral will take place. Yes, how the translocation will take place means along with water. Translocation will take place along with water. Okay, along with water, the translocation takes place, and you know, by the root pressure, by the transpiration pull. Okay, let me write, that is the ascent of sap. So yes, how the water will move by the ascent of sap, along with the water, these minerals will also translocate. Yes, do you understand now how the minerals? What is sap? Yes. So Jeevan, yes, sap in the sense, yesterday I told you already. Okay, there is a water which is entered from the soil to the xylem, right? And that water will enter into the xylem through the cells, that you can call a symplast movement. Okay, in the symplast movement, the water will enter from the cells, through the cells. At that condition, the water will absorb some of the solutes or molecules from the cell, which means now in the water something is dissolved. And one more thing, along with that, minerals will also get dissolved in that. So right, water, along with that something is dissolved, you can call as a sap. So ascent means up, the sap will move up by two processes called a root pressure and the transpiration pull. The same thing what we have discussed in the previous class, no? Transpiration, full ascent of sap, all the things will happen. Okay? Is that clear? Go to the participants and just click on yes or no. If it is clear, click on yes, no. Okay. Okay, sure. Or you can unclick now. Yes, Jeevan, is that clear? Yes, Jeevan? Okay. So translocation of minerals, the same thing. I guess no need to explain again and again, right? So yes, xylem tissue which carries both the water and minerals from roots to the other parts. That is a unidirectional. Remember, movement of minerals and movement of water is a unidirectional because from the roots, the water and minerals will moving up. That's it. They cannot move down. So that is why movement of water and movement of minerals is a unidirectional. Unidirectional. Okay. Yes. But the food is a bidirectional or multidirectional. We'll see. Okay. Yes. This is all about minerals. This is very easy and this simple topic. Next is that movement of movement of the food. Yes, what is the vehicle that helps for the transportation of food? That is what the phloem. Okay, phloem is the vehicle that helps for the transportation of the food. Is where the food is get synthesized in the plants, where the food is get synthesized. Just tell me, no. Just use the chat box. Yes, in the chloroplast. Yes, Ananya, very good. In the leaf, Sachin. Yes, Sachin aa gaya. Okay. Leaf, chloroplast. Yes. Then any more answers? So yes, correct. Source to sink. So are you guys not able to see that? Source to sink, Jeevan. Okay, see here, food is whatever may be that, carbohydrates, right? Carbohydrates are prepared. So yes, the food is synthesized in the leaves. That you can call as the source. That is a source of food, right? Because that there the food is synthesizing leaves or chloroplast, you can say, and then the food will move either up or down. See, if the plant is storing its food in the fruits, now the food will move up towards the fruit. Or if the plant is storing its food in the roots or in the underground stem, now the food will move down, right? Do you understand? So yes, the movement of food, or yes, the movement of food you can call as a bidirectional or multi-directional. So what is a source and sink? Yes, here you can see source is that, yes, 1 minute. Source is that a leaf where we can, from where we can get the food. That is a source. And sink is that, yes, 1 minute. Yes. Sink is that the storage organ. Storage organ. Okay. Yes, this is what from source to sink. Source to sink in the sense, yes, the food will move from source, that is the leaf, to the sink, towards the storage organ. So if you take a potato, what is happens? Yes, the food is going to be synthesized in the form of glucose, right? Food will be synthesized in the form of glucose in the leaves, and that glucose in the other form will transfer towards the ground, and then it will reach the potato, that is underground stem. Now the potato store all the starch or all the food. Yes, here the source is leaf and sink is the potato. And if you take a chili, there source is the leaf and fruit is the, sorry, sink is the fruit. Okay, and if you take a carrot, where leaf acts as a source and the root acts as a sink, right? This is what source to sink. Understood? Yes. Okay. So next, here is something you can see that how the food will move. Ma'am, sink means storage. Yes, Nishchay. Sink means the part which stores. Adu, whatever it may be. Okay, that may be either underground stem or the root or the fruit. Okay, whatever it may be, where the food will store. No, that you can call as sink. Where the food will prepare, no, or produce, no, that you can call as a source. Okay, and how the food will move. See here in the first image you can observe that there is a source, that is the leaf cell, right? So inside the leaf cell you can have a chloroplast. That chloroplast synthesizes a food. Yes, you know what is the product of photosynthesis. Yes, what is the product of photosynthesis? Main product of photosynthesis, which is the main product of photosynthesis. Yes, Jeevan Lipika, yes, correct. Very good. That is a glucose. Right. So now the food, this is the food actually. Okay. So glucose has been synthesized and this glucose is a highly unstable. Since the glucose is highly unstable, that glucose will convert as a sucrose. Yes, that glucose will convert as a sucrose. Okay. And now this sucrose will transport throughout the plant body and finally it reaches a storage organ and this will store in the form of a starch. So yes, food synthesized in the form of glucose and transported in the form of sucrose and stored in the form of starch. You know, glucose is a monosaccharide, sucrose is a disaccharide, and starch is a polysaccharide. You know, right? So yes, remember this. Food synthesized in the form of glucose, transported in the form of sucrose, and stored in the form of starch. So now if you see, uh, yes, this is the source, that is a leaf cell, right? Here many glucose molecules will produced in the by the result of photosynthesis. Okay, now what happens, this glucose will convert as a sucrose and move to the companion cells. Okay, companion cells, just observe here. Okay, if the more number of glucose or the sucrose present in the cell, now this cell becomes a hypertonic, or the cell is having a more number of solute particles compared to the companion cell, right? Now the solute particles will move from their higher concentration to their lower concentration. This is the concentration gradient. So from higher concentration to their lower concentration. Okay, after that what happens? After that, this companion cell, which is having more number of sucrose and the other cells also, so all the cells will give the food or will give the sucrose to the sieve tubes, to the sieve tube. Okay, now the sieve tube is having a more amount of sucrose. What happens? More amount of sucrose means it is having a more amount of solute particles than the water molecule. Now what happens? The water from the beside cells also comes into the sieve tube. Okay, now the sieve tube will have a very much amount of sucrose along with the water. So this complete will bulkily move into the next cells or the beside cells of the phloem. Okay, in the same way, the phloem will transport all the food material all along it, and then finally it reaches the sink or the storage cell, storage organ. Okay, in which part of the cell does glucose get converted into the sucrose? So in the cytoplasm, I guess. Even I'm not sure for that. With that, I guess in the cytoplasm, I can tell you in the next class. Okay, exactly. Now let's explain our discussion. Okay. So do you understand this? How the food will move or the food will transport inside the plant? First, from the source that will reach the companion cell, and from the companion cell, uh, sieve tube, and all along the sieve tube, next it reaches the sink or the storage organ. That is why it is transporting a bulk of food. This flow or movement of food can also called as a mass flow hypothesis. Okay, mass flow or bulk of food is transporting. That is why you can call as mass flow hypothesis, and they are either multidirectional or bidirectional. Okay, so here I have a question that companion cell will take care all the functions of a sieve tube. Is it correct? Companion cell will take care all the functions of the sieve tube. Is it correct or not? Yes. Answer in the chat box now. Yes. From Jeevan. What about others? Yes, from Amit. Okay, very good. So what is the reason of that? Why the companion cell will take place or will take care of all the functions of the sieve tube? Why can't the sieve tube take care of itself? Very good. Sieve tube does not contain any nucleus, but the companion cell does contain the nucleus, right? Yes. That is the main reason why the companion cell will take place. Will look after the functions of the sieve tube. Okay. So, and you know, sieve tube and companion cells, they both can call as a sister cells. Why? Because there is a one parent cell that will divide and give a two daughter cells, right? So in that, one daughter cell will convert as the sieve tube, and the other daughter cell will convert as a companion cell. Okay, and this is not having any nucleus, no? Okay. Yes, do you understand now? Why these both are companion cell and the sieve tubes are called as a sister cells? Because there is a one cell which divide, there is a one parental cell which divides into two and finally gives one sieve tube and one companion cell. That is why these both you can call as a sister cells. This is in a angiosperms. What about in gymnosperms? In gymnosperms, what are the components you can see? What are the components of phloem in gymnosperms? Can anyone answer? We'll see how many will answer correctly. Yes, in gymnosperms, what are the components of phloem? What did we say? 4n plus 2 should be equal to number of you don't know? Say at least don't know. Number, you should equal to number of 5 electrons. How many 5 electrons are there in this cell? Only 5 electrons. Okay, fine. Yes, lack of sieve tube. Yes, Jayant, very good. Which is a cell divides, whatever may be it, okay, whatever may be the plant cell that divides into a two which gives. I only 5 bonds are 2, right? Here 1 5 bond, here 1 2 5 bonds. 1 bond is 2 electron. 1 bond is 2 electron. So 2 5 bonds means 4 electron, right? So 4n plus 2 is equal to 4n is equal to lack of sieve tubes. Yes, any of the cell. Okay, Nishchay. So yes, the gymnosperms do not have a sieve tube. Instead of that, they have a sieve cells. What is the difference between a sieve tube and sieve cells? Means sieve tubes which are long, slender. The sieve cells which are cuboidal shape. They are not much long and slender. Okay, and yes, they are having the sieve cells instead of sieve tube, and instead of companion cells, they do have albuminous cells. 1 minute. Okay, instead of that, they do have companion cells. Sorry, instead of companion cells, they do have albuminous cells. So if you look into the components of the phloem of gymnosperms, sieve cells, albuminous cells, phloem fiber, and phloem parenchyma. But if in angiosperms, sieve tube, companion cell, phloem parenchyma, phloem fibers. That's it. Okay, now you understood the flow from source to sink, how the flow will take place, and what you can call this either multidirectional or bidirectional, and mass flow hypothesis. Yes, do you guys understood? Go to the participants and click on yes if you understood. Go to the participants and click on yes if you understand the concept. Only one. Only Nisha and Sachin. What about others? Giant, okay. It's okay, you can unclick now. Yes. To know that, please repeat the components of gymnosperms. Okay. No, that is not the components of gymnosperms, Amit. That is the components of phloem. Don't take all the things into head, okay? So it's components of the phloem of the gymnosperms. The gymnosperms do have a phloem. That phloem have a four components. One is that sieve cells. Second is that albuminous cells. Third one is that xylem. Sorry, yes, a phloem, parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Do you understand? Yes, do you understand? Amit? Listen, don't take tension about all the things, okay? Just listen. I guess my voice is clear. Yes, no? Okay. Yes, okay. So, yes. Super. Now we'll see. There is a one experiment to know that whether the phloem is only transporting the food or not. To that experiment, there you can call as a grilling experiment or the ringing experiment. So what you need to do here is to the healthy plant, take a healthy plant, and xylem is associated in the middle, right? Xylem is associated in the middle. Just leave the xylem. 1 minute. Yes. So leaving xylem in the middle and just cut off all the parts except the xylem like this. Okay. And see after few days, if you just observe the food which is prepared by the leaves, that will transfer through the phloem, and because there is no space here to move down, all the food will accumulate here. All the food will get accumulate here. Okay, that is why you can see the soul and tissues here. So if you just eat anything a bit, that is fine. But if you are continuously eating, what is going to happen? The soul and tummy you can get, right? The same thing here. If there is no space to move down, all the food will accumulate here. By the accumulation, you can have, or the plant will get the soul and tissue. Understood? This is what the experiment or the scientist obesity in plants. Yes, you can say that, Jeevan. Obesity in plants only when humans involve and do all the such things. If not, plants are very healthy, right? Yes. Now we have studied all the things, right? What are those? How the minerals will take in and how they will translocate, and the food and how the food will prepare we'll see in the chapter of photosynthesis. That's why I'm just saying how the food will transport. Okay, and the experiment. So here is a question for you. Consider the following statements. First statement is that the direction of movement in the phloem is the bidirectional, that is acceleration, and reason for that is the source to sink relationship in a plants is variable. So options are like both 1 and 2 are correct and 2 explains 1. Both 1 and 2 are correct but 2 does not explains 1. 1 is correct but 2 is incorrect. Both 1 and 2 are incorrect. So what is the correct? No, Jeevan. Yes, Amit, correct. Just you have 1 minute time. Just read the question carefully and just answer me either in the chat box. No, Jivan again. Answer me in the chat box or in the poll. In the poll is compulsory, but the people from YouTube and the people here you can answer in the chat box. Yes, Sachin correct, Daksha correct. No, Lipika. Jayant correct. No. Jayant just check the answer. Even the Vinayak also. Yes, Bhagya correct. So I can't get the answers from YouTube. Why? Okay. So I'm ending the poll. Swathi, no. So yes, results are here that 40% of the students have chosen option A, 33% of the students have chosen option B, and 20 option C, 7% option D. Okay, I'm stop sharing. Yes, see, just have a look into the statements. One is that the direction of movement in the phloem is a bidirectional. So, see, the movement of phloem is bidirectional, or the movement of food in the phloem is bidirectional. You can see if there is a plant with a leaf, and at the bottom there are many roots, and at the top there are many flowers. Okay, yes. So if the food has been synthesized in this leaf, and this food needs to transport in both the directions, right? So you can say that as a bidirectional. And one more thing, yes, if the food is storing in the root part, yes, the now food will store in this, or food will move in this manner. And if the food is storing in the flowers or in the fruits, yes, Rekha, you raised your hand. If you have any question, just ask me in the chat box, no? Yes, if the food is storing in the fruits, yes, now the food will move up. So what are the statements here? The direction of movement in the phloem is a bidirectional, that is correct. And the source sink relationship in a plant is variable. Yes, the source is the leaf, but the sink either root or the fruit. Yes, that is why the both 1 and 2 are correct. According to the sink, the food will move bidirectionally. So yes, both are correct and 2 explains the one. Okay. Yes, this is all about this chapter. Yes, we'll start the next chapter. Anyhow, we have a time, no? Yes. Do you guys have any doubts in this chapter? What are all the things we have studied? Yes, we have studied. Can you just let me know in the chat box? So, hello. Yes, everyone, and yes, so sorry for the interruption. Okay. So, yes, we have completed one chapter that is what called. Yes, what is that chapter we have completed? And yes, what is the unit we are discussing? Yes, everyone just answer in the chat box. No, what is the unit we are discussing here? I'm not asking. Oh no, I'm not asking in the asking about the chapter. Yes, everyone, and yes, sorry for the interruption. Okay. Yes. So yes, Sachin, correct. We are discussing about a plant physiology, right? What does plant physiology involves? Or yes, what we will study in the plant physiology. Yes, what we will study in the plant physiology. So yes, you can answer in the chat box. No, what we will study in the plant physiology is the people from YouTube also. You can answer about metabolism, not only about metabolism. Okay, so all the process and all the functions which will takes place inside the plant body. Yes, process is going on. Yes, correct. So all the process and all the functions which will takes place inside the plant body, that we will study in the plant physiology. And what are all the processes? Can you just tell me? If you know, just tell me what are the processes or functions which will take place. Physiological processes. Yes, Ananya. Photosynthesis, respiration. Yes, Sachin, correct. And only photosynthesis, respiration. Just now we have completed one chapter, that is transport and transpiration, metabolism, right? These are all the functions or these are all the processes which will take place inside the plant body. And those we have differentiated in a separate chapter and we are studying. That's it. So in the first chapter, we have studied about how the transport system will work in the plant bodies. That is how the xylem works, how the phloem works, and how the water, food, and minerals will move. Those are all the things we have studied, right? Yes, yes, Jivan. So this is the second chapter we are starting. Okay, this is a new chapter, not a second chapter in the plant physiology unit. Okay, this is a new chapter we are studying. That is the mineral nutrients. So what are all the mineral nutrients? Yes, you can see on the screen, right? So yes, potassium, phosphorus, nitrogen, sodium, sulfur, iron, carbon, manganese. Yes, ions, all the mineral nutrients. So do you guys, if you guys able to remember the biomolecules, if you guys able to remember the biomolecules, there we have seen the organic and inorganic molecules, right? So yes, those inorganic molecules, how they will help the plants to grow. Okay, how those will help the plants to grow, that we will see in this chapter. Okay, yes, 1 minute. Yes, before going to that, I would like to ask you a question. That specialized cell for fixing the atmospheric nitrogen in a nostoc are, which are the specialized cells? Actinides, nodules, harmogonia, and heterocytes. Sorry, heterocysts. Yes. Okay, let me launch the poll. Yes, I'm relaunching the poll and you have 1 minute to answer. Just answer in the poll. Okay. Yes, last 7 seconds more. Yes, great thing is that, see, here you can see the answers that 92% of the students have given the correct answer. That is great. And yes, even Gopika and Ashwin also gave the answer. Yes, you guys also correct. And only 8% of the students have given the wrong answer. That is okay. But nobody have given chosen option A and C. Yes. Okay. So you know, right? There is a specialized cell. If this is a nostoc, there is a specialized cell for the fixation of nitrogen that you can call as heterocyst. Okay. And aconite. What is the aconites? What are the aconites in the blue-green algae? Yes, these are the cells which are helpful in the reproduction. So these are not. And nodules you can see in the leguminous plants. Yes, the leguminous plant roots will form the nodules, and those nodules will contain a rhizobium bacteria. Right, that bacteria will help to fix the atmospheric nitrogen and give it to the plants. And Harmogonia are the cells. These are all the types of cells which are having a motile tissues. Okay, and heterocyst is the, sorry, yes, heterocyst is the correct option. Yes, do you understand? So now we'll actually move to the, let me erase this if possible, the actual chapter of today's, that is what, mineral nutrition. Okay, mineral nutrition. So yes, all the plants do require minerals. Yes, why do the plants require minerals? Can you just let me know why the plants require minerals? Yes, tell me, why do the plants require minerals? Yes, use the chat box and say me, oh, okay, Sinchana, very good for healthy growth. And only for healthy growth? Any other answers? It is necessary for the growth. Yes, Nishchay, correct. And growth and development from Ananya. Yes, very good, correct. And only for growth and development. Is growth and development is on the screen, right? For process, yes, to take place many processes, and for the, yes, to build the cell wall, and yes, Bhagyashri correct and Lipika correct, and to build the many organelles, to build the many cell organelles also they require, and yes, Sinchana, for the metabolism also they require. Okay, and for the reproduction also they require, right? And there are many various functions which are takes place with the help of the minerals. Okay, so not only the minerals, the plant or the all living organisms require macromolecules. And you know what are macromolecules? If you have able to remember the biomolecules, the macromolecules involves the carbohydrates, that is the polysaccharides, proteins, fats, right? These all the things. Along with the macromolecules, they also require water and minerals, and for the growth and development. Okay, why they require, why the macromolecules, water and mineral are required? They require for the growth and development. Okay, yes, we'll see how many macromolecules are there and how many. Okay, first, these minerals are divided into macro minerals or macro ions and the micro ions. So it is completely based on their weight. Okay, if you take a 1 gram of dry weight of a plant, if you take a 1 gram dry weight of a plant, in that 1 to 10 milligram of macro minerals will be present, and only 0.1 milligram out of 1 gram of 1 gram dry weight of plant you can have a micro. Okay, micro minerals. Yes, how many macro and how many micro you can have, or the plant can have? Yes, the plant will be having, yes, 9 macro minerals and 8 micro minerals. Totally 17 essential elements are, sorry, totally 17 essential minerals are present inside the body. So yes, what is the function of these essential element? Why do the plant require essential element? Because of one thing, these are the part of, okay, these are part of biomolecules. These are the part of biomolecules, right? And one more thing is that these minerals will help in the production of ATP. Okay, this will helpful for the production of ATP, and the minerals also have a capacity to alter the rate of enzyme. Okay, yes, these can also alter the rate of enzyme. So I can tell you one example. Yes, what is that? Okay, rubisco. Take a rubisco. Okay, so do you know anything about rubisco? Rubisco is enzyme, I know that. Apart from enzyme, or apart from saying enzyme, do you want to add anything about rubisco? Yes. Most abundant protein in the biosphere. Yes, make photosynthesis possible. Abundant protein. Yes, very good. So rubisco is the most abundant protein in which is known to mankind so far. Right. So this rubisco, which can act as both carboxylase and what? Which can act as both carboxylase and oxygenase. It depends on the function. If the rubisco wants to involve in a carboxylation reaction, then it will act as a carboxylase. If the rubisco wants to involve in an oxygenation reaction, then this will act as oxygenase. Right. So there is a mineral called magnesium. There is a mineral called magnesium. That magnesium have a capacity to alter the rate of rubisco. Okay, so that is how the minerals have the capacity to alter the rate. Either they can increase the rate or they can decrease the rate. Okay, this is about a small introduction about minerals. And here I would like to introduce one person or one scientist. Okay, who's that? That is a Julius. 1 minute. Yes, he's the Julius von Sachs. Yes, who is the Julius von Sachs? Why I am introducing him to you? Because Julius von Sachs have introduced a technique called hydroponics. Hydroponics, I guess I have told you or not, it's okay. So usually the plants will grow in the soil very healthily. But he has tried hydroponics, which means what? Without soil, he will provide the water. Okay, without soil, he will provide the water. Along with that, along with the water, he will also provide all the 17 essential minerals. Okay, he will provide all the 17 essential minerals without soil. And yes, he will keep in a pot. That's why they don't require support. Okay. So now he observed that all the plants are growing healthily without anything. So now, at that time, he decided that yes, without soil also, if we provide a proper water and proper minerals, the plants can grow. That technique is called as a hydroponics. Hydroponics is a technique where plants will grow in a defined nutrient solution without soil. That is called as hydroponics. And I told you, hydroponics, nowadays hydroponics is a bit growing because now you can see, right, in all over the places, in especially in India, you can see there are no agricultural lands. Yes, all the agricultural lands get civilized. They have built many buildings and many hospitals, many apartments, right? So we hardly see the agricultural lands when you compare to the before generations. In the before generations, yes, the price of the food is very low, because yes, most of the people are growing their food in their home only or in their field only. But nowadays all the people have civilized and the agricultural lands and farms are very less, right? So this hydroponics is a good technique compared to now present situations, because is this hydroponics does not require any water, sorry, does not require any soil. If we have a small place in a room, or yes, not in a room, in a balcony, if we just hang the plants, by providing the proper water, along with the water if we provide all the minerals, yes, the plant can grow very well, especially for the vegetables, like lettuce, that is a cabbage, cauliflower, and with the tomato, and for all the this kind of vegetables, the people are using hydroponics. In a Karnataka, like in a Bangalore, you can get the hydroponic centers also. There are some, I think, 4 to 5 hydroponic centers are there in the Bangalore. Is in all over India there are many hydroponic centers, but that is not very much aware. That is not creating very much awareness. That's it. So you understood, right? What is a hydroponics? Hydroponics is that providing water to the plant along with the minerals without soil. That is called a growing the plants. You can see that is called as what? That is called as a hydroponics. And you know, I said you 17 essential elements, right? So I can take a one example. I'll just give you one example. That is, in your class there are 17 students. Just imagine there are 17 students in your class, and each of the student have will get one each of work, one of the work. So one student need to clean the blackboard, and one student need to write on the blackboard that how many students are present and all. And one student needs to bring the chalk piece, and one student needs to arrange the tables and chairs, and few students will clean the tables, and few students will clean the floor. Yes, 17 students will get the 17 individual works. Okay, but now I don't know who are doing which work. Okay, say Sinchana, who needs to clean the board every day. Yes, Sinchana needs to clean the board every day, but the Sinchana is absent at that day. So now what I will do, I'll just enter the class, and everything is proper. Yes, everything, the benches, chairs, and yes, everything is clean. The chalk is in my table, on my table, everything is there. But the board is not clean. Then I came to know that yes, Sinchana is absent today, and board is not clean. Which means yes, Sinchana's what is the cleaning a board, right? That is the mind, that is comes to our mind, right? So in the same way, what the scientists did is they have provided the water to the plant along with only 16 elements. Okay, along with only 16 elements they have provided the water. Then there is lack of one element, right? If there are any deficiencies to that plant, then that is understood that those deficiencies will be because of the lack of that element, right? Then we can see know that yes, this element function is this. So in the same way, they have created the conditions, and they have known, or they have get to know that all the functions and deficiencies of the elements. And they can also do like this, right? They will provide a pure water along with only one element. Then the plant can have only one element, and only the process which is going to be takes place with that element, that process only takes place in the plant. Remaining processes does not takes place. So by that also they can know, yes, this element will do this process. And if we increase or decrease the amount or concentration of the element, then also we can see, okay, this is the optimum concentration of this element. For example, nitrogen, if we providing a nitrogen, if we increase or decrease the concentration of nitrogen, then we'll get to know, okay, this is the optimum concentration, this is a minimum concentration, this is a maximum concentration. So this is how they also know that, or they also come to the conclusion that yes, these are all the functions and deficiencies of the particular mineral. Okay, yes, this is all about hydroponics. Let me read the points. Okay, It is the technique of growing plants in a defined nutrient solution without soil that you can call as a hydroponics, and it is demonstrated by a Julius von Sachs in Germany at 1860. Okay. The nutrients also is aerated for the optimum growth. Okay, aerated in the sense they will provide a proper aeration to that. Okay, and then hydroponics was used to identify the essential elements required for the plants and their deficiency symptom. I told you, no, by the providing 16, by the leaving one, or by the providing only one, they'll get to know what is the essentiality and what is the deficiency of that mineral in that plant. And in this, plant roots were immersed in a nutrient solutions, and an element was added or removed or given in a varied concentrations. That's what I said. They will either provide only one element by the varying the concentrations. Okay, and hydroponics is used for the commercial production of vegetables like tomato, seedless cucumber, and the lettuce. I said you wrote, I told you write all the points already. Yes, if you have any doubts, just ask me in the chat box now. Or do you guys clear with this? If you are clear, click on yes. Yes, no, if you are clear, just click on yes. Otherwise, you can ask the question in chat box only. Nishchay, Lipika, Sachin, Soumya have cleared. What about others? Yes, even Jayant, Ashwin, Jeevan. Very good. Ashwini, Deep. Okay, okay. Super. So you guys can unclick now. This is all about hydroponics. I'm just giving the introduction to this chapter. I'm just giving introduction to the, if particular, okay, here I got a question. If particular element is provided very excessive, then the plant will absorb only required amount or it will absorb completely. So if we provide a more, the plant absorbs obviously, and then that becomes a toxicity. If normal, if the plant is absorbing more than the normal, or yes, more than the required amount, then the plant gets a toxicity. Okay, by that toxicity also there are some diseases or there are some things happens that can also they will study. Sinchana, is the people from YouTube, but do you guys understand? If you're confused, how many electrons are participating in the sorry, how many electrons are being? Yes. Is that clear, Sinchana? They can absorb completely, but that causes a toxicity. That's it. Yes. Okay. So now we'll see some of the essential. Okay, yes, from Ashwin. Okay, YouTube. Okay. So essential mineral element. So we'll just have an introduction of essential mineral elements because we are left with only a 15 to 20 minutes, right? So essential mineral elements, I told you essential mineral elements, especially there are more than 60 elements, but not all of them are essential. 17 of them are essential, but you can have more than 60 elements which are found in a different plants. Even some plants do contain a gold. You know, some plants contain a gold and selenium, which are highly costly. And there are some plants which grow near the nuclear test sites. There are nuclear test sites, right? At that area, there are some plants which grow. They take up the strontium, which is a radioactive, right? They can also have the strontium, and you can also get to know that can we extract that gold? I think no, not properly. That takes more costly. That will be more costly when you compare to the extraction from the ore. If you take from the plant, that is costly, more costly. Okay. So yes, and there are techniques. If there is a very much minute amount of essential element is present also, we can easily detect that by the some of the techniques. Okay. And yes, I didn't upload few notes in the drive, right? So yes, I will upload today. Okay, phyto mining, yes, phyto is for plants and mining is extraction, but I guess that is not so worthy when you compare to the ore. Normal mining, what you use, no? Like in KGF and all. Okay, yes. Can we move to the next, to the last slide? Okay, so yes, I said you the essential elements. If there is one element and if we want to say that as essential element, if you want to say that essential element, what are all the criteria that should have? Okay, what are all the criteria that should have? One is that an element must be needed for the normal growth and reproduction. If you are considering the element as an essential element, then that element should have capacity for the normal growth and reproduction. Yes, that element should be there for the normal growth and reproduction. Then only you can consider that as the essential element. Okay, and in the absence of that element, the plants do not complete their life cycle or seed set. So if you are taking a nitrogen as essential element or a chlorine, right, chlorine, magnesium and hydrogen, carbon, whatever the element which you are considering as essential, if in the absence of that essential element, the plant will not continue its life cycle or it will not reproduce. So right, if those things are happening, then you can call that element as the essential element, because that is very much essential or that is very much needed for the growth and the production. Okay, next is that the requirement of an element must be specific. Okay, understood. So if you take any essential like potassium, if you take a potassium, the functions of the potassium must be specific. So if there is no potassium in the soil, or if we are not able to provide a potassium, there is less potassium in the plant. If I provide calcium or manganese instead of potassium, then that should not be the proper idea, because potassium will be having a particular specific functions, right? Yes, all the essential elements, they do have a particular functions. Understood? They do have a specific functions. In the absence of that, no element can fulfill the function. Then only that element will be considered as an essential element. And the element should directly involve in the metabolism. Okay, yes, the element which you are calling as the essential element, that should directly involve in the metabolism. Unless if it is popping up or poking up the other element to do the metabolism, that is not the essential element. Essential element will directly involve in the metabolism. Yes, do you understand? So yes, if you are asked the question that what are all the criteria which are involved in the essentiality? Okay. Yes, what are all the criteria which are used for the essential elements is that an element must be needed for the normal growth and reproduction. In the absence of element, the plants do not complete their life cycle or they cannot set the seeds. The requirement of an element must be specific, that is deficiency of deficiency of element cannot be met by another element, which means if that element is deficient, nothing will suit there, only that element should come and do the function. Okay, it must be directly involved in the metabolism. Okay, it must be directly involved in the plant metabolism. So these are all the criterias. Based on that, we can say these or such kinds of elements are the essential elements. Okay, and see, there are only 17 elements, right? But these 17 elements are enough for the plant growth and development. These are more than enough for the proper plant growth and plant development. Okay, this is what about the essential elements. And from the next class, we'll see the types of essential element, that is the macronutrients, micronutrients, and the types of the macro and micronutrients. Okay, and roles also we can see in the from the next classes. So meanwhile, if you guys have any doubts, you can ask me in the chat box, because there is no teacher NPS here. I'm not launching a teacher NPS today. Yes, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, you can leave for the day. Yes, people are leaving already. Yes, even from the YouTube, if you have any doubts, just ask me, no? Yes, thank you. So in that way, it continues sigma phi conjugation because of there is a sigma phi sigma positive charge. So that is also the thank you, Lipika. Because this positive charge can be move around. Got it? Because there is an intermediate like polarity developing. That is the reason this total behaving like a aromatic. So that okay, great. Yeah, so some of the other examples of the heterocyclic we are seeing, thiophene, furan, how they are aromatic, isn't it? Because of the lone pair participate. But here nitrogen may they are lone pair, why they don't participate? Because the ring itself has enough pi electrons, the conjugation. So this lone pair do not participate. Right? If we grow gold containing plants and extract gold, that would give us more gold, right? That is possible. If that is really that much effective, why do the people will sit quiet, right? Yes, isn't it? Why do the people will sit quiet? Yeah, thank you, Gopika. Thank you, Ashwin. Isn't it? So that is not so worthful, and that is not a. I don't know. I look into that. Okay, I look into that. Which plant on what are all the things, and I'll let you know. Okay, Gopik. Sorry. Okay, Ananya. Yes. Okay. What about other conditions? There's something conjugation also. So, do you guys have anything to ask me? Yeah, right, Akshay. Okay, I'm ending the class then. Yes, we'll meet up in the next class.